Everybody wants to become rich, but almost nobody wants to live the life that actually creates wealth. Not because getting rich is hard, but because doing the same thing for years without getting immediate results is one of the hardest things a human being can do. Think about this. How many ideas have you been excited about? Drop shipping, YouTube, Forex, gym, crypto, only to quit a few weeks later because something never looked more exciting? Here's the scary part though. Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they keep restarting the race. And every time you restart the race, you erase the one thing that actually creates extraordinary wealth, and that is compounding. So before this video ends, I want to give you a simple test that can actually tell you whether to keep going or quit. There is something nobody ever warns you about. The beginning of almost anything feels exciting. New business, new YouTube channel, new gym membership, new relationship. Everything feels possible. You wake up motivated. You imagine how amazing life will be 6 months from now. And for a while, that excitement is enough to keep you going. But then something changes. The views stop growing. The business starts to make less money than expected. And suddenly, Tuesday feels exactly like Monday. Wednesday feels exactly like Tuesday. Nothing feels exciting. Nothing feels different. And this is the part where most people quit. Not because they are failing, but because they are bored. But here's the part most people never realize. Boredom isn't a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's a sign you finally reached the part where success actually begins. Because while everyone else is chasing the next shiny opportunity, the people that build real wealth are quietly becoming impossible to compete with. Not because they are smarter, not because they are luckier, but because they've stayed long enough in the game for their effort to combine. But there's a reason your brain keeps convincing you to start over. And once you understand it, you will stop sabotaging your own success. Here's something I wish someone told me earlier. Your biggest enemy isn't failure, it's distraction. Every day, you're surrounded by people telling you to start something new, a new business, a new investment, a new strategy, a new shortcut. And every new opportunity makes the one you're already building feel boring. But think about this. If changing directions actually made people wealthy, wouldn't everyone be rich by now? The truth is, success usually looks repetitive before it looks impressive. And science actually explains this. Your brain is designed to notice something new. Thousands of years ago, this helped humans survive. Today, it makes us chase the next shining opportunity. Every time you start something new, your brain gives you a small reward. It feels exciting. It feels like progress. But excitement isn't the same thing as progress. Real progress feels ordinary. It's uploading another video. It's going to the gym. It's reading one more chapter even when no one is clapping. And one of the greatest entrepreneurs in history proved this. Most people know Steve Jobs as the man who transformed Apple. Very few people talk about when he was forced to leave the company. Imagine building a company that you love and being told to leave. Most people would have walked away, but Steve Jobs didn't. He built another company called Next, and for years it struggled. It wasn't a huge commercial success. Barely people talk about it today. But while everyone else was focused on what wasn't working, Steve and his friends kept improving the technology. And years later, Apple bought Next. And the software they built became the foundation of the next generation of Apple computers. See, sometimes the season that feels invisible is quietly preparing you for the success that everyone else will see later. Let me tell you something that completely changed the way I think about success. The people who build extraordinary things ain't always the smartest people in the room. They ain't always the most talented in the room, and they definitely don't always know how everything will turn out. But what separates them? They stay in the game when everyone else leaves. Take Elon Musk, for example. When starting SpaceX, the odds of success were incredibly low. The first rocket failed, then another one, and another. Most people would have stopped, not because they were weak, but because failure is exhausting. Yet they prepared one more launch. Because sometimes the difference between giving up and making history is simply one more try. So, how do you know whether you should keep going or it's actually time to change direction? Here's a simple test I use. Whenever I feel like quitting something, I ask myself 5 questions. I call it the board test. B. Better information. Do I have facts that genuinely suggest I should change, or am I just uncomfortable because progress feels slow? O. Opportunity. Has the opportunity actually disappeared, or have I simply lost my excitement? R. Results. Are my results getting worse over time, or have I not been consistent long enough to expect meaningful results? E. Energy. Am I making this decision because I'm thinking clearly, or because I'm tired, stressed, or burnt out? Then D. Destination. Will this decision actually move me closer to the life I'm trying to build, or am I just chasing another shiny object? If your answers point to a real reason for change, then change. But if you're only running away from boredom, then stay, because that's often where your breakthrough is actually hiding. One day, people will look at someone successful and they will call them lucky. What they won't see are the videos that barely got any views, the businesses that grew painfully, the hundreds of ordinary days that looked like nothing was happening, because that is where success is built. If there's one thing I hope you remember from this video, is don't let boredom make decisions your future self will regret. Stay consistent, keep improving, keep learning, because success rarely arrives at once, it compounds. If this video changed the way you think about success, let me know in the comment section. What's that one goal you're committed to sticking to even when it gets boring?